What's up, everybody? My name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today is Wednesday, May 7th. Now, in today's video, there are a few things that are very important that you need to watch. And that is number one, Dog Bitcoin, the Rune token itself, has flipped a combined total of BRC20 tokens. This is absolutely staggering. This gives you a little bit of perspective that there's going to be a shift in sentiment for switching from fungible tokens such as BRC20s over to runes. It's happening now as we speak. But also what we need to cover in this video is that right now altcoin season is pretty much lingering just around the corner. We're seeing Bitcoin dominance continue to do its rally to the upside. We're going to look into that in just a little bit. But also very important in this video is that a billionaire investor and entrepreneur and huge Bitcoin bull Maxi is now talking about Ordinals and runes and Bitcoin DeFi. What is this all about, and why do we need to look in charting analysis at the end of the video? Well, trust me, we're going to dive deep into it. So let's go ahead and smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X, and please be careful with any of the scammers down in the comments below. I will never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or email. So please be careful and invest safely. Guys and girls, let's get right into it. Right now, Dog Bitcoin is roughly around a 278 million market cap. Now, as of yesterday, we actually saw a massive dip. We dipped below 250 million market cap, as you can see over the past 7 days. It was a big flash crash, and this was not because Bitcoin took a dip. This was just a lot of manipulation, what I brought up in yesterday's video. Remember, there are bots that want you to sell your bag, so they will trick you into thinking that yes, we're hitting a bear market, retail is selling. No, these are the bots playing games. Now let's look into Bitcoin's price, because yesterday, Bitcoin's price jumped from around 94,000 up as high as 98,000 just within a span of like 12 hours. It's pretty crazy. But I do want to compare it to Dog Bitcoin. So if we take Dog and Bitcoin together, over the past day, you can see that Bitcoin is up 8% and higher, while Bitcoin's only up 2%. Over the past 7 days, it's up 3%, while Bitcoin is kind of at the exact same number. Check this out. Over the past month, Dog Bitcoin is up 136%, while Bitcoin right now is roughly up around 34%. This is a massive gainer for Dog Bitcoin. Now, why did Bitcoin's price just all of a sudden pump? Well, it could be due to this, right? So apparently, China confirms plans to begin trade negotiations with the United States, but it was all due to this. So apparently, Scott Bessent is going to be in Europe, and also some of the representatives of China are also going to be in Europe coincidentally, and they're going to meet up to start these conversations between these two different countries to hopefully end these tariff wars, because as Bessent said, these tariff hikes are just not sustainable. Eventually these things have to end. President Trump even alludes to a big announcement hopefully within the next few days, because right now he's actually traveling to the UAE. I'm not sure if he's going to be in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, but apparently either during the time that he's there or right after, he's going to make a big announcement. Now, in terms of Bitcoin's price, how far can it go? So as you can see from Colin Talks Crypto, he mentions the global M2 money supply compared to Bitcoin's price. Now, as you can see, it seems like it's pretty on point. Bitcoin is following the trajectory of where global M2 money is. But the thing is, he says that now it's actually surged the global M2 money supply all the way up until August. So as you can see, if this is going to be correlated with the global M2 money supply, Bitcoin's price could hit around $160,000 by beginning of August, end of July. We'll see how that goes, but based on what he's saying, there is no stopping this global M2 money supply as of right now. So if this tends to pump, then you're going to see massive altcoins, especially meme coins, and Dog pump just as hard. So as you can see, Dog right now is ranked 156. And it's kind of still lingering there. We're trying to figure out where the specific token belongs. But right now, this is something that I need you to pay attention to, which is the altcoin season. Altcoin season is now still leaning more towards altcoin season, but Bitcoin dominance is still at play. Right now, we were at 29, when yesterday we were roughly around 20 to 22 or 24. So it's actually increased and leaning more towards altcoin season. And why is that? Well, as you all know, Bitcoin's price in terms of dominance is supposed to hit around 66%. That's where we think the max could be before it starts an altcoin rally. But something, and this is possible, this is very possible, where Bitcoin's dominance reaches up to 71%. Now, this would actually kind of make sense. If you think about it, if Bitcoin goes to 71% in dominance, that means Bitcoin's price will surely go to 130,000. That would make sense. altcoins, meme coins would lag. They would still pump with Bitcoin, but they wouldn't pump as much depending on which coin you are. To me, I actually think dog Bitcoin, because it's actually on Bitcoin, would pump just as hard because it's priced in sats. Don't worry, I'm going to talk about what billionaire investors are talking about with Ordinals and runes in just a little bit. But we have to talk about social dominance within the Bitcoin ecosystem, because this is really important for you guys and girls to understand. The Bitcoin ecosystem, aka Bitcoin DeFi, is an emerging ecosystem just within the past 1 to 2 years. This is fairly new, and you're at the precipice, at the forefront, at the frontier of why Bitcoin is going to be fully adopted and why all the developers and VCs are going to funnel into this. Now, this is breaking news from Ordinals. So breaking, the top rune dog is now worth more than the top 7 BRC20 tokens combined. Now, if that doesn't convince you that people are done with BRC20s, I don't know what I can tell you. Because BRC20s, especially a very few of them, like Ordi, Sats, and Rats, a lot of these are listed on tier 1 exchanges, especially Ordi that's listed on Binance, by the way. People are veering away from the greediness and manipulation and scam tokens that are listed on these centralized exchanges. People are very smart out there in the world. So they're going to look towards DOG, which is the most decentralized coin, by the way, across many other meme coins within the top 20. Leonidas follows up and says, runes have now firmly flipped BRC20 despite 6 tier 1 centralized supporting BRC20 tokens. Runes are more decentralized, more efficient, and more native to Bitcoin. Now, I want to talk about op return, because apparently breaking Bitcoin Core cites large data inscriptions as one of the primary reasons for removing the op return limiting marketing, the first time that Ordinals degens have had a direct impact on the Bitcoin upgrade. Even Samson Mao, who is a huge Bitcoin maxi, I actually don't think he believes in Ordinals or runes. Even he says in this specific tweet, this may come as a surprise to some, but Bitcoiners will always reject coercive changes. It was true when the corporations and miners wanted to increase the arbitrary block size, and it's true now as Bitcoin Core devs decide to remove the arbitrary op return limit. So here's the breaking news. This is the billionaire investor that I want to talk about, and this is reported by Decrypt Media as of today. Now, if you don't know, billionaire investor and Bitcoin bull Tim Draper is now optimistic around not only Bitcoin's price, but also Bitcoin DeFi. So he mentions here down below, a lot of creativity is used to be around Ethereum and Solana, he said. Now, most of the engineers and entrepreneurs are driving it towards Bitcoin. So Bitcoin now has smart contracts. Actually, that's not true. Bitcoin does not have smart contracts right now. But I think that sooner or later, if they do remove op return, then you could see something like smart contracts, something like that, that would make Bitcoin DeFi more efficient. Then he goes on to say, Bitcoin now has DeFi. It has ordinals, it has runes. This billionaire investor is very familiar of Ordinals and runes, and this person has a great foresight of great investments. So let's talk about his portfolio. Now, in his actual company, what he's invested in, because he's a venture capital, he's had prominent investments in Baidu, Hotmail, Skype, Tesla, SpaceX, AngelList, SolarCity, Ring, Twitter, DocuSign, Coinbase, Robinhood, Ancestry.com, Twitch, and so much more. Now, he actually has videos of himself, which is an AI version of himself, and this is actually his channel, where if there's anything developing within the landscape of great investments, he'll have his team create an AI version of himself to talk about exciting things. Now, one of these things that his AI mentioned was Hero. Now, Hero is a development tool, but it also mentioned it's a Bitcoin L1 service that services ordinals and runes. I didn't know this, but this was back on April 17th of 2025. I did not realize this. I totally missed it, but he's actually quite aware of ordinals and runes. And the fact that he can see something within Bitcoin DeFi is another reason why you're really early on with DOG, but at the exact same time, perfectly positioned exactly where you are if you have a position in DOG in your portfolio. I already mentioned back on November 29th of 2024, Mark Yusko, the CEO of Morgan Creek Capital, he owns DOG and chose it as his top 25 altcoin pick. Out of every other altcoin, meme coin, utility coin, he chose DOG. And this was on the Altcoin Daily interview. So if you see Mark Yusko, Tim Draper, and many other entrepreneurs out there, and even retail investors, you know that dog is going to do well. So let's focus on the charting analysis. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to pay attention to something, okay? Now, we could be experiencing a third parabola event. So let's dive deep. What does this look like? So the very first parabola event, when we saw dog roughly around 170 million market cap all the way to around 970, well, that took only 21 days. Then we had a market cap close to around 190 million market cap in that recent dip. And that was roughly around 85 days until we saw an all-time high of around 999 million market cap. Now, I came over here to see another bottom, a new low for dog Bitcoin when we hit roughly 100 million market cap. And we are currently at roughly a 280 million market cap. So I took an average between 85 to 21 and just chose randomly 70 days. So at the 70 days, we could experience another $1 billion market cap or even higher. And the reason I say that is because if you notice, look at dog Bitcoin's price over the 20-day moving average, which is this little orange line right here. Now, the reason I bring that up is because when you look back here, over at the very first bull run, you saw that Bitcoin's, or at least dog Bitcoin's price above the orange line almost get very close to at some certain point, but still rally to the upside, right? And these blue lines right here that you're seeing, these little curvatures, these are the parabola events that I've drawn for you. So when dog's price was above the 20-day moving average, which is the orange line, it kept going up, and then it went to a bear market. Same thing happened over here. Now, when the dog price was over the orange line, the dog price kept going up and up and up, took a little retracement. Then you saw the dog price go above the 20-day moving average. Then it went up and up and up to 999 million market cap. So I'm bringing this up to you right now because dog is doing the exact same thing. Dog price is right now kind of touching alongside the orange 20-day moving average. And as you can see, it kind of just plays this game of just kind of touching it here and touching it here. Dog's price gets really close to that 20-day moving average quite a bit. And that's just really good. The fact that you're seeing a huge gap between the 20-day and the 50-day moving average, the 50-day is the green line. The fact that there's a big gap in between is very good because you want to see a big gap just like this and just like this over here. These big gaps allow you to understand that there's a lot more bullish momentum going on for dog than what meets the eye. But also look at this over here on the MACD. As you can see, it looks like it's about to cross over this blue and orange line. Now, when we see something like that, look something like that over here, right? They get really close together. They can be so parallel right alongside each other that it looks like we're about to dip. But as you can see right here in the terms of the price, we end up rallying just again. But there could be a crossover just like something like this and sending us to another retracement. The thing is though, we actually haven't gotten up to here. We actually haven't met this top, which is where this was right here. We have so much upside to get to that specific point. We could see prices up to $500 million and higher. Just think about that because that's what we saw over here. So this is just my personal opinion, but we do want to see this continue in its bullish trend. But as you've seen on the charting analysis, we could experience within the next 7 days, dog Bitcoin continuing its rally. There will be whales and bots. They're going to start pumping this thing specifically. They will trick you into selling your coins because we're seeing bots on gate.io pretty much manipulate the floor price. But in my opinion, if Bitcoin's price is going to pump, that means dog Bitcoin's price is going to pump even harder, as is proven over and over the past month. So as a conclusion and statement, I've shared with you where altcoin season is right around the corner. Bitcoin dominance may be topping or maybe topping at 71%. We could have some catalyst event regarding the end of these trade wars between the US and China. There's also an FOMC meeting happening today. But the thing is, I don't think anything's happening with that. I don't think they're going to do any rate cuts. That's just to be expected. If there were to be rate cuts, then that would send everything, pretty much skyrocketing in terms of the stock market, S&P, even like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. But I don't think anything's going to happen. I think that's just something that we should just ignore. We need to focus on Bitcoin's price, the US trade wars, and also what these billionaire investors are talking about. Okay, you're seeing in the charting analysis, you're going to see some choppiness. All you have to do is hodl. Dollar cost average, hodl, and enjoy the ride. That's all you have to do. It's simple, it's easy, and that's how everybody's going to win. You know that dog Bitcoin's market cap is not even 0.02%. It's 0.001% of Bitcoin's market cap. Imagine when dog Bitcoin is at least 0.5%, just 0.5% of Bitcoin's market cap, let alone 1%. 1% is definitely in the cards. It will blow minds, but I want to be more realistic in the short term. It could reach 0.5% of Bitcoin's price in this bull run for 2025. So with that said, let me know your thoughts down below, and I cannot wait to read them. So go ahead and smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X to receive all of our alpha calls and trades regarding dog go to the moon. Till then, see you guys and girls next time.